We are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Undercard Supercast number blah 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 blah. With us tonight is, trust me guys, he is nothing if not punctual, Mr. Ben Cohn. Next up, he is the inventor of the niche porn genre of iPad water sports, Dan Galvan. The only staffer man enough to eat chicken and waffles the size of a barn with me at 1 in the morning, Josh Hall. The surprise entrant in the Maury Povich 30-man over-the-top rope baby daddy battle royal, Nolan Howell. And myself, the resident I'm not a bitch of Undercard superstar, Earl Montclair.
He's really not a bitch.
Totally not a bitch. Luke Irwin is currently hiding from the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission in a bathroom, and he will be arriving shortly after the coast is clear to discuss this with us. I'm going to hand it over to Josh right now. He's going to take us away.
All right, we're going to get into our awards from the weekend. So, in honor of the big fight coming up, we're going to have our Golden Goat medical marijuana strain. Since we do have the GOAT returning, and we've got Nick fucking Diaz.
Right.
And obviously we will have the fun, always tasty Golden Poop. Ben, go ahead and start us off.
The
if
goat,
you're ready.
Goat marijuana strain.
That's a real thing, I promise you.
Are you sure?
I would know about this sort of thing, possibly.
Jesus Christ.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's fucking amazing. Okay, the Golden Goat marijuana strain's gotta go.
Medical marijuana strain.
Medical marijuana strain. You are correct. I apologize. I'm gonna give it to Dennis Bermudez simply because he's now on a 7-fight win streak. He's beaten Clay Guida. He didn't just beat Clay Guida. He completely obliterated him in less time than it took for Chad Mendes to do so. He's one of the most exciting featherweights / fighters on the planet. He's never in a boring fight. He's got phenomenal strength and power. He's got really good wrestling, excellent scrambling abilities. He clearly can get a submission against Clay Guida, which is something only 2 other people in the UFC have ever done, Kenny Florian and Roger Huerta, and both were after severely rocking Clay. This one, he just took him down and choked his ass out after completely outstriking a slightly more technical-looking Clay Guida on the feet. And I'm pretty sure he took home a performance bonus, so that's another 50 grand. He's maybe a fight away at most from a title shot. And I mean, there are a lot of guys at the top that I can see him beating. Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas, Chang Sun Jung. I can really see him because he also has a chin made of fucking cast iron. So Dennis Bermudez definitely gets it. My Golden Poop? Holy shit.
Literally.
Yeah. It's gotta go to Lil Nog. I was thinking of other people, but Lil Nog walked in there in less than a minute after being injured consistently. Can you maybe not breathe into your microphone?
Nolan, you're making love to your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Dude, I was getting so hot over that.
I was
that got
sweating.
really weird right there.
I'll save that for Undercard Superstar After Dark. Apologies.
Oh dear God, that is great. Okay, anyway, Lil Nog definitely gets my Golden Poop because he walks in there against new breed, sort of Anthony Johnson. You know, he's 38, he's coming off injuries, and he just gets completely annihilated. He didn't land a single strike. He looked horrible. He's chronically injured, just retire, and I don't think he plans on retiring, which is even worse, so that's why he definitely seals the Golden Poop.
I will give the GOAT medical marijuana strain to Anthony Johnson. You want to talk about scary? I did not think I'd be talking about Anthony Johnson.
I want to smoke what he's smoking.
I would, yes, definitely. And the idea that Anthony Johnson was on a co-main event card on national TV in 2014, and he would look like a scary monster is just amazing to me. I mean, he's right there in the light heavyweight discussion, and he punctuated that with that just amazing knockout win over Rogerio Nogueira. This probably wasn't as impressive as the Phil Davis victory, just because Phil Davis is just at a little higher level than Nogueira. But still, I mean, Johnson's right there. He has a case for a title shot, but he won't get one because the line is so long, so he'll probably get another fight. I don't know against who, but there's a lot to be excited about if you're part of the Anthony Johnson family. And the Golden Poop, as much as I would like to give it to Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan, but I can't because they did such a good job calling the first ever women's strawweight fight with Johanna Jedrzejczyk and Juliana Lima, so I can't give it to them.
Second.
Instead,
that was the joke.
That was my awful joke.
Oh, God damn it.
Thank you.
I'll give
for
it
that.
to Steven Siler. I'll give it to Steven Siler because he had a real nice run in the UFC where he kind of had a 5-1 run that was capped off by a win over Cole Miller, and then now he's lost 3 straight. First to Dennis Bermudez, which is understandable. Then he went and got finished against Hani Jason, and then he lost a must-win fight against Noah Lahat, a unanimous decision. And this is a guy, Noah Lahat, who had a pretty poor camp headed into it, according to what he said. So Steven Siler, I mean, he at one point looked promising, but with this recent loss, it wouldn't be surprising if he's not, if his next fight isn't in the UFC.
3 straight losses doesn't look good for him.
Yeah, so at least to a main event fight pass next week.
Earl?
Okay. To me, the Golden Goat medical marijuana strain goes to King Bobby Green for coming in on short notice and taking out a really, really excellent fighter in Josh Thompson, somebody highly ranked, somebody in his hometown, and he went out there and put a pretty sound performance in and beat him pretty clearly. I saw there was a lot of griping about the decision. I thought it was a pretty clear 2-1 for Bobby Green. I didn't really get where the controversy was, but anytime a guy like Josh Thompson loses, it's not such a bad day in the world. He's just a terrible person, and now that puts him just in the last, off the top of my head, he's just suffered another humiliating defeat to a black man. It's Obama Green 3, Thompson none, and I couldn't be any happier for it. My Golden Poop goes to Matt Brown because, dude, this is the biggest fight of your life. Title shot on the line, and you miss weight, and then you go in there and let Robbie Lawler dictate the pace for 25 minutes. Like, you got all the way to that position by dictating the pace in your fights and making sure everybody was going to fight the way you wanted that fight to go. And you went out there and let Robbie Lawler lead the dance, and you absolutely paid the price for it. And, I mean, it was a great fight. It was entertaining. It wasn't a bad fight by any means. It kind of suffered due to overhype. It could never be as good as everybody was hyping it up to be, but it was still very good. But overall, for the weekend, Matt Brown has to probably be very disappointed with this.
All right, Golden Goat medical marijuana strain. It's got to go to the #1 contender at welterweight, Mr. Robbie Lawler. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of issue with what Earl said regarding Brown's performance, because he definitely was pushed back at times, but Lawler fought one of the most smart tactical fights that I've ever seen him fight in his entire career. This was the smart Robbie Lawler, who was not leaving too many openings, and even as such, in that first round, there was a couple of dangerously close moments where Brown was one flush shot from ending that fight. In a fight where he should have gotten just beaten around and knocked out within 2 rounds, we saw an amazing battle that was honestly really tactical from both guys. And I think Brown realized if he charged forward with reckless abandon, the only thing that was going to happen was he was getting finished. So he picked his spots. He tried to initiate the clinch. But I thought it was a really great fight from both guys.
I agree with Josh simply because we saw in the first 10 seconds, Lawler tagged him 6 times when he tried to just push him backwards. He could not do it. He got rocked in the first 10 or 15 seconds. He knew he couldn't do it.
The fun fact about Matt Brown is he has still never been knocked down by a headshot in his entire career.
He's one of the toughest
And
fuckers.
he went 25 minutes with Robbie Lawler. Golden Poop. Oh, man, I hate to do it because I really like the guy, but Clay Guida looked absolutely awful and out of his element against Dennis Bermudez. And, I mean, Bermudez is a talented fighter. But Guida's been in there with some of the best. And there was never even a second in this fight where, you were 15 seconds in and it was very clear that there was absolutely nothing he could do. He was completely overmatched. And as good as Greg Jackson is at putting together game plans for guys, I almost wonder if either Guida needs to make a move somewhere or just consider hanging it up, because he's not improving at this point. He's regressing, and that's sad to see from a guy who was a highly touted fighter not long ago at all.
I'll disagree with you there also, because he actually looked much better on the feet in general. He looked slightly more technical, despite the fact that he was getting. But that's my point, is if he was showing some improvement on the feet there and still getting beaten that badly, something's going very wrong in his camp. I don't think it was anything necessarily his camp. I think Dennis Bermudez is just a better fighter. I think this version of Dennis Bermudez beats any version of Clay Guida. Yeah, but he's taken better fighters than him to tough fights for years. I think it's more something's different now. I think his body's physically eroding. I don't think his skills are eroding necessarily. I just think that he can't take the punishment he used to. Nolan?
He just got, quite honestly, what ended up happening on the ground was Clay just got cocky and felt like he wasn't going to get submitted at all.
I feel like that's right.
That's essentially, he really almost gave that to him because he didn't think he was going to get it. He underestimated Bermudez and he got cocky on the ground and he paid for it. But, the thing that's weird about this version of Clay Guida's stand-up is that all the criticism that was thrown in his direction for the wild bouncing around, crazy, flip your hair a million directions style, he didn't do that in this fight, and he quite honestly paid the price for it and didn't look that good.
He did not.
My Golden Goat medical marijuana strand goes to GGG Gennady Golovkin. He went out there and did what Gennady Golovkin does. He knocked out Daniel Gale with just God. He ate the punch at the same time. So good. He had his eyes closed because he had just taken one on the chin, fires back a right hand, and knocks out the. I'm not sure if he was number 3 or number 2 guy under him, but it was something at that level and. Take him out in 3 rounds. So he's earned probably a fight with Miguel Cotto coming up, and if there's a way to cement your name in boxing, beating a guy like Cotto is going to do that and more, and move him on to bigger and better things. And he is definitely on the scene now more than ever after that fight. And my golden poop goes to Phil Baroni. You got TKO'd by Carl Parisian in 2014.
Badly.
You have a MMA record comparable to Tank Abbott's, I think. You're not very good at fighting, man. Just hang him up, and don't talk crap to Ben Askren again, because you're gonna get embarrassed.
All right, moving on. Dateline, a hospital room in Arizona. Breaking news of the anticipated Joe Riggs-Paulo Thiago massive fight. All of that has been quelled as Riggs has proven that rule 1 of gun safety is the gun is always loaded. And if you think the gun's not always loaded, you accidentally shoot yourself in the hand and the foot. So if anybody has anything they'd like to chime in on that, by all means. Swing away, boys.
I'll start off delicately because I'm the delicate one here. Because I could see myself. I could see myself shooting myself. Like out of the 4 of us, accidentally.
But yours won't be accidentally. You'll just.
Well,
So
now we're
Dan
talking about me
Galvin,
as
the Cheddar Bob of Undercard.
So I'm not going to criticize Joe Riggs. I can have empathy for him. But what are you doing, man? I'm just glad that's all he shot, because that's very dangerous. A gun just goes off, and how do you hit the trigger? Like, even if you're cleaning a gun, how does the trigger go off? I don't understand. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it's very easy to have the trigger depressed while cleaning the gun as a part of cleaning the gun, but that's why you have to make sure the chamber is completely empty more than once before you begin cleaning said gun.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've never like held a gun. I've never shot a gun. I kind of know which direction to point it, and that's pretty much it. But even my complete ignorance and, in a sense, hatred of said implement, I know to make sure the goddamn bullets are out before I start fiddling around with it and cleaning it. And I didn't need gun safety for that. I watched Major Payne and I learned that shit. and he did it upside down, blindfolded, and he didn't shoot himself.
It's ridiculous. First of all, Joe Riggs in 2014 got back to the UFC. Let's talk about that for a second. He got back to the UFC. No one saw that coming. He won Fight Master, made $100K from it, didn't get another fight since then, and is now at 31 coming back to the UFC. He's lucky he had this chance, and he probably got the most winnable fight for him in the entire organization. And he manages to shoot himself. Literally, in the leg.
I mean, generally, the shooting yourself in the foot's kind of a euphemism, but
it's weird too because I mean, if you think about it, this might have to be. It doesn't quite beat out the Tim Means KOing himself in the sauna and missing a fight.
Yes, it does.
I mean, if you KO yourself in a sauna,
you can accidentally slip on a wet floor. You can only so much accidentally shoot yourself with your own handgun while cleaning it.
That's true. There isn't a manual for using the exercise bike in the sauna as far as putting a towel down or something to soak up your sweat.
You might be a dumbass, but it's not as...
Well, where are we throwing Rodman? I mean, not Rodman. Kevin Randleman. Where are we throwing him at? When he slipped, I think he fell and he hit his head on the post when he walked to the cage?
Kevin Randleman's had enough done to him. No shots need to be fired there.
Stop piling on, okay?
No pun intended.
We're not that mean, Dan.
We're not going to go after him. I know. Sorry.
All right, well, for the viewers that are watching us right now, I know what they want to hear us talk about, so we're going to have to get started. Super fight of all super fights.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to say anything about Joe Riggs. Come on.
Do you want to talk about Masanari Kanehara, your
Say something about Joe Riggs, Nolan. Say something about Joe Riggs.
All right, there you go.
That is
Thank you. Actually, I'm glad I stopped for that. All right, super fight, UFC 183, Super Bowl weekend. I don't know if it's going to be the main event or not, but either way, it's going to be a spectacle and an event. Anderson Silva, Nick Diaz. It's finally happening. Ben, what say you on the fight of 2015?
Dana White may actually have shit himself when he saw them that both signed it. He got back his biggest pay-per-view star in Anderson Silva, or arguably biggest pay-per-view star. And now he got back one of his biggest pay-per-view stars in Nick Diaz. And both are strikers. One is known for spectacular knockouts. The other one is known for come at me, bro. It's going to be glorious to watch Nick Diaz splayed out from an Anderson Silva counter-strike, completely unconscious, and seeing him come up with an excuse in the post-fight interview. I'm going to love every moment of watching the Diaz fan base not shutting up, explaining how he'll beat Anderson, how shot Anderson is, and unless Anderson is completely shot, Nick Diaz is going to be murder, death, killed. It'll be beautiful. His plotting style cannot touch even half of the old Anderson. I can't wait to watch Nick Diaz get just obliterated. In terms of what it means for the company, obviously it means a lot. Anderson's healthy. He's back. My back, whatever. That's great. That means that's going to be a big pay-per-view. Nick Diaz being back for 3 fights is huge for them. They can throw him on as either a supporting role or a main event. That'll get them a lot of pay-per-view buys. Yeah, they'll do it.
No, I'm just saying Nick showing up for 3 fights is the only thing I was laughing at.
That's true. I do want to know what they're paying Nick, because that'll be fun to see how much it took to get him back.
Whatever it took, it's probably worth it, though, because this card's going to sell a lot.
Yeah, it's going to sell so much. It's ridiculous. I'm just really happy about this. I'm happy about this because a lot of what's been going on has been said about by hardcore fan bases. Oh, it's negative, 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 negative. And finally, there's just been this whole month has basically been a stretch of positive. Phenomenal cards. Everything's been going great, and now we get an announcement that not only is Nick Diaz back, Anderson's back. They both signed to fight each other. Come on, this has been a great past month and a half, and I'm really. It's been a while, but I'm really truly excited about MMA, like it used to be. It's really exciting and fun, and it's just been great for the past month and a half or so, and I can't wait to see what the future holds right now. Except for Vitor, I hate you, and I hope you get caught using steroids again so that we can finally kick you out of the UFC.
Dan?
Well, on that positive note, and I'm sorry if you hear my dog, he's excited about this fight. I agree, Ben.
Let him off your leg.
Yeah, I was about to say, why is he on your leg?
Did I say that? Well, that we can talk about that on another day.
The desk is shaking.
No, Dan, we can't.
Yeah, Ben, I'm excited about the UFC, man. We got Ryan Bader fighting in the main event in 3 weeks. But more importantly, that
Looks
UFC,
like your dog's pretty excited about the UFC, too.
Absolutely. That UFC 178 card is awesome. And then we get, in January 31st, this fight that is... It's really insane when you think about it, and it doesn't really seem real. It's like me matching with someone on Tinder that's not a 40-year-old man. It just seems absolutely crazy that we're going to see Nick Diaz and Anderson Silva share the same cage and attempt to behead each other. It's going to be awesome. It has no long-term implications. I mean, Anderson Silva's up there in age. Nick Diaz, like Earl alluded to, I would be shocked, absolutely stunned if he fights more than 3 times in the UFC.
If Diaz wins this fight, you know damn well they're putting him in a title fight in his very next bout. 100%.
Yeah,
It'll
absolutely.
be Nick Diaz, Johnny Hendricks for the welterweight title if he beats Anderson Silva.
Yeah, he would have so much leverage over the UFC if he wins a fight like that. I do wonder what the weight limit will be for this fight. I don't know if that's been announced.
It's middleweight.
185.
Oh, 185. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the UFC probably won't have to worry about Nick Diaz winning, which will also kind of bring an interesting proposition. How will Diaz's attitude towards himself and where he will allow himself to be matched up with be? Will it change if he loses once again? Because that's, 3 or 4 losses in a row?
No,
It
it
would
won't
be 3.
change.
Yeah, it won't change. I agree with you.
Look at pictures of Nick from when he was like 7 years old. That is the same Nick Diaz that is in the UFC right now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what you're going to get with Nick. For all him being an enigma and whatnot in the sport, he's a pretty consistent guy. You know what you're going to get with him pretty much all the time.
Yeah, we're not surprised anymore. But I'm really looking forward to this, guys. And I think this fight is going to get to that level where it's just like when it's about to happen, you just get super excited about it. And I think it's going to deliver. I just hope it happens. I really hope it happens.
Earl?
You know, kind of something that you had just mentioned. You said Nick Diaz at 7, you got at 7 is the same Nick Diaz that you get now, and I think that's the absolute most fucking pathetic thing about that, man. You know, the fight itself is going to be so gnarly, and it's really a fantastic fight to book. It's great to get Anderson back in the cage. You know, after really what, quite honestly, at that stage of his career, probably could have and should have been a career ender when he broke his leg against Weidman, and to have him back and to put him in with such a, you know, a popular, inexplicably popular figure like Nick Diaz is really is a great thing for them. It's going to do, like, it won't do 1 million buys, but it'll do, you know, it'll do over 750, maybe 850, something like that, and that'll be great for them, especially when their last like 4 pay-per-views combined have done that. So that's going to be.
They stacked that card. They hit 1 million.
Dude, I mean, really, to me, what they need to do is put a lighter weight or women's bantamweight title fight on that card as well. Like, if you do Rousey Zingano on that card, you do Mighty Mouse against whoever. I mean, at this rate, they are giving him whoever as it is, so why not? You put guys like that on that card along with that fight, you're getting the exposure for the lighter weight divisions and the women's division that you absolutely need. And
maybe Dillashaw on a quick turnaround too.
Absolutely.
The guys that you struggle to sell.
Yep. It's something where it'll get a huge set of eyes on whatever you put on that card. So you've got a really good opportunity to stack that card massively and do really good numbers for that card, but also help yourself in the long run as well. As far as the fight itself playing out is concerned, all I keep thinking about is after round 1 of the George St. Pierre fight, after Nick Diaz got manhandled by George St. Pierre, he went back to his corner and he didn't want to listen to advice. He didn't want anything. All he wanted to talk about is how George hit like a bitch. And that is a broken man. Somebody that goes in after 5 minutes and no matter what, all he can say is no matter what else happens, he hits like a bitch. That's a broken man. It's a broken fighter. And if George St. Pierre, who's not exactly the master of mind games, can break Nick Diaz in a round, Anderson Silva is going to quite possibly put him in literal tears in the cage with the epic weapons-grade clowning that he's going to do against Nick Diaz in that first round of that fight. Nick is a mental midget. He doesn't have the capacity to face adversity and come out on top with somebody like Silva on such a massive stage. And, I mean, I don't think he's, he doesn't have the KO power of Weidman at 185. I don't think he's going to just Donkey Kong Anderson by any means. And I don't think any version of Nick Diaz beats Anderson Silva, but I'm really happy the fight's going to take place.
Yeah, I really think this is one of the most perfect bookings that the UFC has done in quite a while, because when you're booking Silva's return opponent, one thing with him coming off the leg injury, they book a guy who's going to sell and who is guaranteed not going to kick him in that hurt leg. Because Nick Diaz does not do kicks. Nick Diaz is going to get in there and he's going to throw some really good boxing combos, and they're going to miss badly. But for Silva's bounce-back fight, I mean, this is perfect. But I'm going to have to take issue with one thing you said here, Earl, about Diaz being a mental... It is, apparently. About Diaz being a mental midget, because for all the stupid things that Nick Diaz does, after UFC 158, he said, I'm not getting back in the cage unless I get a new contract in either George St. Pierre or Anderson Silva. How many guys put the hard line down with the UFC and not only don't get fired, released, they actually get exactly what they asked for? Like, he's actually one of the very, very, very few people, if anybody, that has taken leverage and used it against the UFC to get exactly what he wanted. So for the fighters of the sport, I think that's a great thing. And this fight's going to be bananas, so no matter how the action goes down, it's going to be an event and a spectacle. And it's almost hearkening back to the Pride days. And I love everything about it.
Really quick before Nolan jumps in, I don't disagree with the fact that he was able to leverage that contract. I don't think that was a percentage of him, a percentage of his representatives, a percentage of the UFC being shitty-ass dead in the water when it comes to draws. I think all of those things kind of created the perfect storm to allow this to happen. But good on him, as you said, for executing that kind of leverage.
It'll show other fighters that they can do the same thing, if nothing else, which for the sport is very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. My comment was more related to him in the cage.
Oh, I know.
And not being able to, cut Carlos Condit off and
it was just a lead into what I was going to say anyway, so I just.
Oh, damn it.
Nolan, what you got for us?
As disenchanted as I am with the UFC product as it is right now, I cannot wait until January now. It's a smart booking move for the UFC here. You get Anderson Silva back, who is going to guaranteed to pop a decent draw, considering he is possibly the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, and you get Nick Diaz, a guaranteed draw if there ever was one, and he brings intrigue with his trash talk. He brings an exciting style where, as harmful to his health as it may be here, he isn't going to stop, and he's going to come forward, and he's going to try to bust Anderson up as hard as he can. And I'm a huge Diaz fanboy myself, but there's absolutely no way that this pans out well for him at the end result. But he got what he wanted. I do take umbrage with the mental midget thing as well. I think it's very, very. I guess I can't say smart, but his headstrong nature plays out for him sometimes, and this is one of those cases. I'm just excited. I mean, which is a very, very short, very narrow statement in of itself, but when you consider how many times I've said that about the UFC product in the past maybe year and a half, it's a pretty big statement. I'm legitimately excited for this fight, and I want to see it. It's something I'm actually looking forward to for once. So kudos for doing the right thing finally.
All right, Earl brought up a quick little point here that I think we absolutely should address because we would be irresponsible journalists if we didn't. What's the possible funniest way that Anderson could end up clowning Diaz in this fight? Ben, go.
Well, probably the funniest thing he definitely needs to double finger it up. He needs to he needs to do what Nate Diaz did to Cowboy Cerrone. First, he needs to completely and utterly just humiliate Nick by making him miss over and over. The other ways he can make him completely and utterly humiliated: knock him down, open his hands, and go, "Come at me, bro." There's always the Stockton slap, which I don't think he would ever do, but that'd be fucking hilarious if he slaps Nick Diaz across the face. So I would definitely say for him to go, what, smacks Diaz across the face, watch Diaz get pissed, run in, dodge a couple punches, and then just blast him, like one-shot KO.
All right, there are two things I want to see. It starts at the weigh-ins. I want Anderson Silva to kiss Nick Diaz on the lips at the weigh-ins. That would be spectacular. And then as far as the fight goes, I don't care how it plays out. I just care how it finishes. And this one doesn't make too much sense. I just want to see this happen in my lifetime. I want to see someone submit another person with a nipple twister. If Anderson Silva can twist Nick Diaz's nipple so hard that he taps out, I would just be so overjoyed. So that's my way of victory I would like to see.
That's realistic. The best way to go.
That's really
Is
good.
pinching against the unified rules?
Okay. I just thought of another one.
Curious. Does anyone know before we?
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
No. Here's another one against the unified rules that I don't know. Nick is always mean-mugging, and he's so serious and angsty, and he pulled a fire alarm in elementary school, shit. He never smiles in the cage. I want to see him happy. Can Anderson tickle him?
That would be amazing on so many levels.
Oh, man. That's just tremendous.
I want Anderson Silva via tickle.
Sir, excellent call. But wait, why would he tap out from the tickle?
No tapping. It's just
You want to see the Diaz smile.
I just want to see him smile. What I'd like to do, he can first kind of goat him into getting on the ground, because I want to see him I want to see some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out of Diaz and Silva. I'm sorry, I really would like that a lot. So if he could maybe work in some clowning on the ground, that would be great. Tickle him to a stand-up, fantastic. And then he backs up against the cage, a la the Stephan Bonner fight, and basically dares Nick to try to body him up in the corner and rip him with body shots, and then just mows him down. But I just want tickling. That's really all I want in life in general.
Yep.
I kind of want to see him pull a cyborg and offer Diaz side control, and then when Diaz goes to take it, just crack him with an upward elbow and knock him out from flat on his back.
Up kick.
No up kick. The Tony Frickland elbow, but from the ground.
That'd be sick.
Diaz comes diving in, and next thing he knows, Nate's throwing in the towel.
I want Anderson Silva to lose this fight by DQ due to timidity, because he spends 2 or 3 rounds dancing around like Michael Jackson through the cage.
You want to see a repeat of the Linus fight or the Maya fight?
Latest fight, yeah.
No, I want to see him literally replicate his Pride entrances and just do that for about 10, 15 minutes. And if he can somehow land a strike in that time doing a Michael Jackson kick, then, that's cool.
Anderson just moonwalking across the cage mid-DIAZ combo.
Yeah, just a nice dance routine. What else could he throw in there? I'd like to see him try to hug him during the fight.
Yeah,
Just not even tie clinch. Just hug him, pulling him into the middle cage and pick him up like a dance partner and just kind of walk around with him and sway with him. There's a lot of fun opportunity here.
He could dance around with him like Bray Wyatt did to unconscious John Cena.
Yes. Yes. Or yeah. It's just a smorgasbord of opportunity here. I personally like Dan's idea of kissing him at the weigh-ins or trying to the one guaranteed thing about this fight, aside from an Anderson Silva victory, is Anderson Silva's troll game. Probably the best troll game in MMA, and I'm sure he's just thinking of so many opportunities to make us smile and giggle like gay little schoolgirls.
He
So
really
I'm
is a
excited for that.
trolling virtuoso.
Yep.
Absolutely.
There's no other way to put that. Trolling.
Is it bad that I'm almost more excited for the trolling and the shitheading he's gonna do in the fight than the fight itself? It's probably bad, but I can't help it.
It's not bad.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
It's just what it is. I mean, we have to take all the enjoyment out of this fight that we can get because so often we're just disappointed in the sport nowadays. And when you get something like this, you latch onto it and you enjoy it and you hump its leg.
Oh man, I'm gonna take this leg.
It is the only thing to do.
We're gonna hump this. We're gonna hump its leg like it's Dan Galvan's dog.
My dog is attached to my leg now.
I'm gonna give this leg the red light special.
Can I have the red light special?
All through the night.
Yay!
I want to say something.
So what you got,
Did
Dan?
the Uriah Faber was booked to fight Masanori Kanehara?
Yeah, Kid Yamamoto got hurt, and that was the fight that was supposed to happen. And
Either
so
way,
now we're getting one of the Faber-esque bookings. That's
really
Yamamoto got hurt? What?
I know it's shocking.
Yeah, that's just appalling to me, that fight.
All right, and one last thing for the show tonight. We see our own Ben Cohn over there sparring what looks like a little bit of a shiner. Do you get a little altercation, Ben?
Did the door hit back?
it's actually it was just an accidental punch during jiu-jitsu. It happened on Thursday. I was on top inside control, and I take it easy on the guy usually because it's not fair. But he kind of was flailing a bit on the ground, trying to get out of side control, and he just clocked me. And about 15 seconds later, some guy on the side's like, "Ben, you're bleeding." I'm like, "Kidding me? I have a job interview on Monday." I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm so screwed." And it was bleeding. It swelled up a bit. It was fine. But yesterday, it was okay. It kind of looked exactly like this. The cut was gone already. But I did get asked about why I have a black eye. And I have a follow-up interview fucking tomorrow at 12.
I think you should come in with a fresh black eye just so they know you're consistent.
I already went to Marcella's tonight, and now after this, I'm going to train some more at the place where I just got punched in the eye on Thursday. So, gonna hopefully not be reopened, because that would be awful.
Don't run into the speed bag, Ben.
All right, well, that'll be it for us tonight, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll cheer for Ben to come back with a fresh new shiner for us next time.
Hell yeah.